Social skills are not optional. They shape a child's confidence, their resilience, and their happiness. But they don't come naturally to every child, and that's okay. Whether the child is shy, neurodivergent, or just needs more practice, there are concrete ways we can increase their confidence and comfortability with other peers. When I say all kids need social skills, I'm not talking about masking. I'm talking about choice. Because if you don't understand how social situations work, you cannot make informed decisions about how to navigate them. Learning social skills gives you options. You can choose when to connect, with whom to connect. You can advocate for yourself and learn how to prioritize your own needs while connecting with somebody else or taking a break from connecting with somebody. And without these skills, you are just stuck reacting instead of being in control. So then the question is, how do we make socialization with other peers an enjoyable, positive experience for the child while, of course, respecting their authentic likes and interests? I think of it like a seesaw where there's two sides. One side is the effort that it takes to socialize and everything that comes with it, the conversations, the emotions, the group dynamics, and the other side is the reward. And the reward side is just simply what feels good to that child. And this will change over time because the child will change over time and the social dynamic is going to change, obviously. So if the effort side is a lot heavier than the reward side is, obviously the child is going to avoid socializing because it's just too much effort. Eventually, what we want to do is we want this reward side to balance off or to be even more beneficial and to outweigh that effort it takes. So the first thing we need to focus on is lightening that effort side. Kids, like all humans, are hardwired to take the path of least resistance. There was an interesting study in 2017 by the College of London where the participants took place in a series of tests where they had to judge whether a cloud of dots on a screen was moving left or right. And so they indicated their response by moving a handle. And when the researchers gradually added a resistance to one of the handles, then making it more difficult to move, the volunteers' judgments about what they saw became biased, and they started to avoid the more effortful response. So if a weight was added to the left handle, the participants were more likely to judge the dots as moving rightwards, as that decision was slightly easier for them. So if an effort outweighs reward, in the case of socializing for kids, they're going to avoid. So how do we decrease the effort it takes for a child to socialize? How do we lighten their load and make it easier for them? Well, the first thing we could do is to start removing some barriers that are currently inhibiting their effort. So how do we do this? You can do it by assessment, observation, and obviously knowing the child. Some barriers can include fear, anxiety, maybe a negative history of socializing with peers from the past. You can know this by speaking with the parents and really knowing the child's history. Other barriers could be maybe sensory stimulation. Maybe the social environments in which the child is at right now are too loud or too disruptive, or the children are too physically in their face. So let's find an environment where that sensory is not overloading that child, and thus they're more relaxed and more capable of putting that effort out. And also, a big barrier typically is just the skills themselves. So, does the child have the actual ability to have a conversation? Do they have enough attention right now to focus on a group? Do they have enough experience and know-how in the actual games? Have they ever played this game before? Do they know how it works? So that would entail a lot of skill building, and that might require smaller social skills groups, lunch bunches, or just, extra practice of particular things. So you might then have a situation where you have removed some of the barriers and you're teaching the child how to have these skills. They are learning conversation. They are learning how to play certain games. It's an environment where it's not too overwhelming for them. And maybe they still want to just play by themselves. And that could be just because the reinforcement is just still heavier playing by themselves. So we've lifted some of the barriers and we've built up the skills, but we haven't increased the reinforcement enough to make it worth that effort. So kids will naturally allocate their behavior to what feels most rewarding. If playing alone is more fun or rewarding than joining a group, then that's what's going to win out. And we have research to back this up. Herrnstein's matching law, expanded by Fisher and Mazur, shows that organisms, pigeons in the original study and then humans in daily life, tend to match their behavior to sources of reinforcement. In other words, we do more of what gives us more reward. So that means we have to sweeten the pot a little bit. How do we make this environment so rewarding? Well, if a child really is not finding it very fun yet, you're going to have to rely on whatever it is that they are currently finding rewarding or reinforcement. So using their favorite toys, build the socialization around what they currently really like to do. Using verbal praise if that is reinforcing to them. Maybe you have to use some tangible external reinforcement if that is what is needed at that time. Also, we want to make sure that the peers that they're playing with are bringing value to their socialization. So we don't want to set up a child who is already a little sketch on socializing, and then we're pairing them or putting them in a group with children who are taking toys or doing things that are just decreasing the value of the play. We need peers who are going to increase that value, and we can set that up. We can have the other peers also have really cool things that they can share, and so their Lego towers can get higher, or they can make something even cooler if that's what they're making. We just want to make sure that the other peers are adding and not subtracting to the social experience. And so keep in mind that if we have any external reinforcements or any external rewards, we eventually want to fade those to the level that the other child, the socialization in itself, is the reward. But that takes time, and it's okay, it's fine to use external rewards while you're getting there. It's going to take practice and repetition. Repetition strengthens neural pathways, and small reinforcement will accelerate the learning. So what we have to do is create lots and lots of frequent but low stakes practice opportunities. Use games that the child already likes or that don't take a lot of, again, effort. Use them that naturally embed turn taking, games that naturally require looking at the peer. Reinforce approximation. Whenever you're helping a child with something that already does not come naturally to them, remember to always make it clear, make it simple, and make it worth their time and effort.